This, my friends, is the Mavic Mini 2. Actually, it's not, it's the Mavic Mini 1, but it's going to be the exact same size and weight. Literally, everything physically about it is pretty much going to be the same. Very, very slight differences in the actual overall drone itself. So we're just gonna talk about the official specs today that we know of, and this thing is looking pretty darn good for the money. So speaking of the money, how much is it gonna cost? The original Mavic Mini comes in at $399 US or $499 for the Fly More combo. It looks like the Mavic Mini 2 is gonna be about $100 more, which for what you get is looking pretty darn reasonable. And what do you get? You get the same drone that's the same under sub 249 grams, which you need to fly in a lot of countries without registering your drone and going through a lot of the hurdles that you need to get a license. So that's probably for me the best and the only reason that I would actually consider this drone, because of its convenience. If you're a new drone pilot, this is probably going to be the best beginner drone that you can get, I think, especially with the new additions. It's just phenomenal, and it's a bit more reassuring to have what we now know to be OcuSync 2, which is basically replacing the old Mavic Mini 1 being a Wi-Fi drone and giving it much better range and much better reliability when it comes to overall connection. And that's worth a lot, especially when it's your first drone, you've just dropped $500. You don't want that thing flying away on you. So that's a huge, huge plus, I think, up to 10-kilometer range. That's a total game changer. So really happy about that first huge upgrade when it comes to the overall range of the drone. Second, it looks like we have the same sensor in the drone, and this time it's going to be performing in 4K. We were capped at 2.7K with the original at 40 megabits per second, and now it's going to be bumped up to 100. So our image quality is going to be pretty much 2.5 times better, which is going to be great. It's going to be more comparable. Not that the original was bad, it just wasn't, comparing to some of the other drones. So it's gonna look a lot better now. So throw a set of ND filters on and you are gonna get some amazing footage. Really happy to see that upgrade as well. It's the same 24mm f2.8 equivalent lens, and also it's going to give us the same 12 megapixel photos, but now we're gonna have the option to shoot in RAW, which is a big deal. If you don't know what that means, it's gonna give us more flexibility in post to bring out more detail and shadows and highlights and whatnot. It's just an overall better process, but it does require you to have a little bit more expertise. They've also added the addition of panorama mode in our photos, so it's going to stitch them automatically for us in camera, which is great. We already knew that our batteries and flight time had been upgraded to about 31 minutes, and there's a bit of a downside here. If you have a Mavic Mini 1, it doesn't look like you're going to be able to use the same batteries in your Mavic Mini 2. So do consider that. But all around, it's a great drone with a fantastic flight time, so grab that Fly More combo and you'll be flying for a while. The next upgrade is level 5 wind resistance, so this thing is going to be much more stable when it comes to flying around in any sort of wind conditions. And this is a big deal for stability and just confidence when it comes to not crashing your drone, especially when you're flying in just, sporadic weather. You never know what's gonna happen. So this is a huge upgrade, especially to a lot of the drone enthusiasts out there. They know just how important this is. Next, we have some new Quickshots available, which is always great to see. That's when you can go in and get some really easy pre-programmed shots to get some really great footage easily straight out of camera. So that's really nice to see. Okay, so there's one feature we haven't talked about, and I can't confirm whether or not it is in the Mavic Mini 2, but it's pretty much the only thing that I would have really wished for in the Mavic Mini 1, and that's active tracking. We know that the Mavic Mini 2 doesn't have any front sensors or collision avoidance, and because of that, it was unsure if we were gonna see active tracking. But having seen that the Pocket 2, the Pocket 1, and other things don't rely on front sensors for the active tracking, I'm wondering why we can't have it in the Mavic Mini 2. Or the 1 for that matter. So DJI, if you're listening, please put it in. That is an absolute key feature that would just make this drone definitely the best-selling drone of 2021 and forward. It just has to happen. And we know that using Quickshots, it's utilizing some kind of tracking anyways, so just give us that feature and I would be so thankful. And I'm sure everybody would. It's just a great feature to have, and if all this stuff actually pans out, it's gonna be probably the best-selling drone of 2021, easily. But let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments, and what you gotta see out of this drone if you're gonna be upgrading from the 1 to the 2, and what it's gonna take. I don't really know what the Mavic Mini 1 is gonna be worth after this thing comes out, because it's It's just definitely not even close to as good for pretty much the same money. So if you want to buy a Mavic Mini 1, let me know. Or maybe I'll give it away. I don't know yet. So guys, that's going to be pretty much it. If you're thinking about picking up the Mavic Mini 2, I will leave affiliate links down in the description. Apparently the release date is scheduled for November 4th or 5th. But if you know something that I don't, or if you do hear something, drop it down in the comments as well. And like always, guys, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and go fly the drone or something. I don't know. See ya.